This is for real, y'all. It has taken us way too long to set up this episode, but here we are. And we are bringing to you live, sort of, but not really, all of the things about Christmas. Our favorite traditions, our least favorite traditions, all of the things that are happening societally, how you can make them Christian, and things you just should not do, see, or really give a second thought to as you embark on Christmas, as a family, as a single person, as whoever you are. We are super thrilled to bring this to you, and we want to encourage you to just think about some things when it comes to this holiday season that you might need to give to the Lord.
So with that, we invite you
to holy surrender. Just using the wall to spin my chair.
Yeah, I know. It's good. Listen, I'm trying to figure out the mic. It's great. Yes. One of these days we'll be set up and it'll be like,
oh my gosh,
flawless.
One of these days we might be professional.
Ready for it. Listen, it's not that day. We're not there yet. Today is not the day.
I need a not today Satan mug. It's like a not today podcast mug.
See, there's just no winning. It's fine.
Guys, you really need to stream this episode with full effect because I came in my Sunday best. We are not renovating our basement. No. I do not have holes in my socks.
They are holy socks, Jill.
They
holy
are.
Socks.
They're St. Joan of Arc.
You surrender the status of your sockage and give it to the Lord. Okay, it's fine.
This sock, I know, is an analogy for my sanity.
That tracks so well. Oh my gosh.
I'm striving to follow what the Lord is calling me to do. But there's some holes happening here.
Listen, is that St. Joan of Arc?
It is.
Okay, so you've done battle. It's great.
Yes, the quote on the bottom says, I am not afraid.
Jill,
I was born to do this.
You need new socks, honey.
But I like my socks.
I know, we will get you the same socks, but that have heels on them.
That's why I'm wearing them while we renovate the basement. We decided to bring you podcasts today and pre-record stuff, and so you get me in all my glory and my husband's flannel.
Yep.
And that is what I'm surrendering to the Lord this week.
Oof. Oh, snap. All right.
Your turn.
My turn. Oh gosh, what am I not surrendering? Really, I'm such an expert.
That's why we started this business.
Yeah, because we're so good at fake it till you make it.
Which is why we have to surrender, because you can't fake it till you make it into heaven.
Oh, doesn't cut the cheese.
That was not the right analogy. We're going to get to the throne room. And God is going to do like a trumpet, but he's going to be like, this is fake news. Fake news. Now, frankly, we just can't do this. If you're not watching, we're doing the little Trump hand thing.
To Christmas eventually. Okay. Okay, what am I surrendering? Ooh, patience. Or lack of patience. See, okay, and I've learned when you pray for patience, you need to be very specific with God, because I have learned that He will give you opportunities for patience instead of the actual patience.
Well, yes.
I don't need that. I've got plenty of opportunities, good sir.
So we really need to be praying for an outpouring of the gift of the virtue of patience.
Yes, please.
Amen. I
That's
agree
great.
to that. I come into agreement. Oh, goodness. So, Christmas. We have a lot of traditions. I have a lot of ads on the gram and all the other places that pop up for Mary on the Mantle. And for Jesse Tree, and for Advent stuff, Advent wreath stuff, I should say specifically. There are so many good options. And then there's the secular version. There's like Elf on the Shelf.
Oof, I don't do the elf.
Oh, and instead of like a Jesse Tree, they do those Christmas boxes, right? And it's got
with the chocolate boxes. Or the toys?
Well, there's both. Like,
okay, so I had the chocolate growing up.
You had the chocolate?
I would open the little cardboard door.
It's still secular. Like, get my little secular version of like the Jesse Tree.
Yeah.
Which just occurred to me right now. Woo! But There are also some. Okay, so we went to see Red One, the movie Red One,
Okay.
which is a Christmas movie. It's like a Christmas action movie.
Okay.
And it's actually really good. And it's funny. It's got like The Rock in it.
Okay.
And, oh shoot, Chris. Captain
Okay.
America.
Nope, not Hemsworth.
Captain America, Chris.
Yep.
Um,
Shoot, what is
why
his
can I
name?
not every time I talk about this movie, I forget his last name.
I just
Drop it in the comments. Help me out,
Please.
guys. It's not Pratt. It's not Hemsworth. It's
the other Chris.
the other Chris. Oh, heavens. It's also got Lucy Liu. Is that how you say her last name? Liu? Lucy Liu? Liu? I don't know. Anyways, she's in there, and it's basically this story about how Santa gets kidnapped by another, like, Christmas mythological character. She's the Iceland form of, like, a Christmas witch. So, witch, not witch.
Okay.
So we have Santa, but like the German people have Krampus.
Oh yeah.
Heard of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is like the Icelandic version of Krampus. She's like a Christmas witch that punishes people
Oh
ogre
snap.
thing, yeah, for not being good around Christmas time.
Ouch.
So the whole arc narrative of the story, without spoilers, is Santa gets stolen because she doesn't think he's doing his job right. She thinks that
Dang.
you should reinforce with punishment and not see the good in everyone and fight for that good in people. So it's a really cool thing, and it's funny. There's a little bit of cursing, but not a ton. And it was really clean as far as movies go.
Yeah.
But it was a fun little twist on Christmas for adults. And it did have legit mythological creatures in it. Like, that are in the real world.
So I took Joanna to see a movie last night. Also, movie ticket prices are insane. I cannot stop talking about this. I think I've told 5 people. I haven't been to the movies in years, and I went to take my daughter because I haven't spent a lot of one-on-one time with her. And I was like, you know what? There's some good movies. We ended up seeing Moana. It was fine. It was fine. I really wanted to see the best Christmas pageant ever. What?
I didn't know that was out.
Oh my gosh, yes. I remember reading the book as a kid, and it was so, I mean, at the time it was okay, but now looking back, I'm like, that was cool.
I think I remember what book you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of remember the plot.
Yeah.
But she got to pick.
Yes, she got to pick because I'm the cool mom.
Because frankly, I'm awesome.
I mean, honestly.
Frankly, I'm awesome. I cannot do a great Trump impression, but I'm trying.
It's really just the hand motions.
Yes. That's all I gotta get.
That's it.
We are, of course, a little too much caffeine in and a little not enough sleep into this podcast.
Yes.
We record best in the dark for the lighting, so it's like nighttime as we're doing all these.
Yeah.
So if we seem a little loony, it's legit. It is true.
Yeah.
This is our confession.
Yep. And I have come to the understanding that I need more water, less coffee.
What a sad life.
I'm actually, I know, but see, every time my body goes, water, I'm like, oh, iced coffee. So it's like,
how do you like your
listen,
coffee?
you
the max.
Ivy,
Do you like coffee? Only with
you
my
make
oxygen?
your coffee.
Okay.
What is it? Quote it. What show is that from? Put it in the comments.
There you go.
Yep, that's it.
The professional way to say what she just said is comment below if you know what movie. Not movie. You know what TV show.
Professional way to say what Jill was just trying to say.
Cute.
Ah, rats.
Gosh darn it.
Junky darns.
Another thing you should watch is Christian curse words from Tim Hawkins.
Gosh, I love Tim.
You will not be able to not cry. Yeah, there are
From
some
laughter.
good from laughter, yes. And it's all clean. All clean comedy. Speaking of clean comedy and clean movies, there's also a movie that came out that you warned me about last time
Yeah.
and that we talked about a little bit. I think we were on our way back from the branding photo shoot we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Called Dear Santa. And the title is super misleading.
It's got Jack Black in it.
It's got Jack Black in it. which isn't bad inherently, but like,
No, but just so you can identify the movie.
yes, like you'll see the cover and it says Dear Santa, and it's his face in the middle of a wreath. But the whole point and premise of this movie is that a kid writes a letter to Santa, but he's not good at spelling. So instead of writing Santa, he scrambles the letters and writes Satan, and the rest of the movie is Satan going after this kid, essentially.
He gets
Trying
three
to
wishes and then he takes his soul. And he tells him several times throughout the movie, I'm going to take your soul. And it's terrible.
It's just not necessary. We have not seen it. We just know what it's about,
warning.
and we're warning you about it now.
I saw the trailer, so I can tell people, like, what I just said is a fact because I heard it in the trailer.
Yes,
So,
like this is not
you know.
speculation on the movie. You can
Right.
look up the trailer yourself.
Right.
But if you're planning to go see it, I feel like personally the branding on it is misleading.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like that. They put teeny tiny kind of devil horns over the word Santa
On the S.
on the S, but that's it. And honestly, from my couch to my TV, which is not very far, it is hard to see those little horn thingies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, I knew what it was, but it's very misleading.
Maybe just best to avoid that one.
Yes, we would just encourage you to not. Honestly, when it comes to Advent and Christmas traditions, there are a lot, I think a lot of secular things came about from already Christian things, right? Like there is there's the Jesse tree, and then you have the little Advent boxes with the Christmas countdown.
Yep.
A lot of like the kids do the little rings, like you do the paper rings and you lock them together.
Mm-hmm.
And you count down from 25. A fun way, I know we did that in school.
I actually put that on. Oh, I'm putting it in my Lent book, my Lent kids book. But where
you pray for people, you put people's names on it.
That's a good idea too. No, but what I did was on each link you put a Bible verse or a Bible story that you read, and like it leads you through Lent. We should do one for Advent. That would be a good idea.
We should. And my siblings-in-law did the little rings for Lent, and they put a name of a person they were praying for that day.
Oh, I love that.
It's really cute. I thought my name on one of them, so I know I felt so special. I was like, please, all the prayers.
I know. So I stopped at Cornerstone for dinner, and I haven't been there in a minute. And I saw the prayer wall, and I took a minute to read everybody's little tags on the wall. It was just so sweet.
So uplifting.
Getting the whole community to pray together is beautiful.
Yes, which is something we want to do in our little virtual community on our website. We're still working on how we're going to get that to work. But that is something to watch out for, because we want you guys to be able to put your prayer requests in, and for people to see those requests, even anonymously or specifically anonymously, and to be able to say, hey, I'm praying for this intention.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that is huge, because I was just talking to someone where I was like, I remember when you asked us to pray for that.
Oh,
And when you pray for them, they, remember she's like, I'm trying to discern whether or not I'm supposed to take a different job.
Mm-hmm.
And then we prayed, and like I kept that intention, and I prayed as prompted or whatever. And she's taking a new job. I was like, I remember when you asked us to pray about that.
Yeah.
And it just feels so much more personal when you encounter someone.
Yeah.
And you're like, either I've been praying for you, or they've been praying for you, and they check in on your intention. So we want to do stuff like that. And I think that's a great way to do things in Advent too.
Yeah.
Even if you don't do anything crazy with your Advent wreath, light the candle every evening as a family or by yourself, whatever your situation is, with your friends, who cares?
Yeah.
And just say, hey, we're lighting and burning this candle for all the intentions from today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
just, you don't even have to, like, everybody's got the formal Advent book. You don't have to have that, right? It's just like heart prayer, uniting your heart with the people around you, or, long distance.
Yes, exactly.
Call your people.
And honestly, even sometimes the prompts to pray for certain people come up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've ever started to randomly think about a person.
Right.
A lot of the time, actually, I'm trying to do it every time. I assume that it's the Lord saying, hey, I need you to pray for this person.
Yep.
Sometimes it's actually something that I'm supposed to share, and sometimes it's just an intention to keep in my heart, or a situation to keep in my heart and pray about. Another fun thing to do with those intentions would be to pray for them all collectively, and then ask for an outpouring of that week's theme. like peace, hope,
Mm-hmm.
joy, love.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, Lord, we're wrapping these intentions up together. We're placing them at your feet, surrendering them to you. Please pour out peace on these people. Like, that would be so simple, because I think a lot of people get wrapped up in checking the box of Advent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember to do things every day. I'm trying to live more as the Lord prompts me and less as the book tells me. Like, the journal that says, like, I have to do something every day, which is interesting because the way I wrote my journal for Advent is not meant to be to completion.
Yeah.
In a way that you could actually go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
If you felt pulled to one question during 1 week, do that.
Yeah.
And you could jump around. And if you don't do them all, it's not sequential on purpose. And the whole part of it that is questions is about surrendering your heart to the Lord and asking him about his perspective on your life, which is why I say it goes with the Encountering Emmanuel little books, or with the, I think it's called Hark the Herald Angels Sing or something.
I don't know.
Or I don't know. I don't think that's right, but it's a little prayer booklet that just has prayers for every day of Advent. Our church passes them out at the beginning of Advent, and it's really fun. But I picked them up and I was like, okay, well, these are prayers to say every day, and that's great. That's easy. If you wrap it up with the Encountering Emmanuel book, which asks you to reflect on your own life, then you add my Talking with Jesus during Advent and Christmas thing, then you're asking Jesus about his input on your life. So you're kind of getting all sides.
I love it. It's a full...
And it seems like a lot. But there are people like me who love that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord just kind of merges it all together.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes to Advent, you should do what the Lord is asking you to do.
Yeah.
And if that is the Jesse tree one year and an Advent wreath the next, then do that.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to harm your kids or your friends to do something different, or yourself.
Right.
If that's where the Lord is calling you to encounter him more deeply in this season.
It's also okay if this stuff feels stretchy.
Oh,
like
100%.
if you're not used to this, that's totally fine.
That might be good.
Yeah. It's if you feel a pull to do something, or even if it's just a slight interest, check it out. Ask one of us, comment or send us a message or whatever.
Yes.
But that could also be an inkling from Jesus that he wants to spend time with you this Advent.
Mm-hmm. It's also, and the best way to do that, we say this a lot, but sometimes I don't think we articulate it thoroughly. We say step out in discernment a lot. That means go do the thing. It means go do it. Take an actionable step towards it and see what the fruit is. So if you step out and you start doing Advent journaling and it doesn't really resonate with you, then maybe the Lord was trying to stretch you a little bit, but he's pulling you back out of it, and that's okay. Maybe he wanted you to try it because you were curious, but know that at least right now that's not where he's asking you to be.
Yeah. And the key for all of it is just constant communication with him. Like asking him, what do you want me to do? And if you try something and you're like, Lord, I didn't like that. What do you want me to do?
Yes.
Like, go back and then challenge him. He loves to be challenged. He loves to show you that he's God.
Yes.
Right? So he's asking you to journal. I don't want to do that, Lord. Are you sure?
Yes.
Like, really? And he'll say yes.
Maybe he'll land it in your lap. Somebody's going to hand you a journal. Yeah. Maybe the journal you're looking at goes on sale. There's a gazillion different ways that he could land that in your lap. Yeah. Which makes me think of that reel I showed you before we started recording. So it's like Jesus driving in the car, and he's like, "Are you doing okay back there?" And the guy in the back seat's like terrified. And
flying
he looks out the window and he's like, "Jesus, you're going the wrong way." And if you look out the front window, there's a semi going straight at them, like they're in the wrong lane. And he's like, "You just rest. Everything is under control." And nothing felt so real in my life than Jesus telling me to rest and it feeling like a semi was going to hit me dead on. And he's like, "I am the way." And he shifts gears and flies over the semi. And I have never felt so seen in a reel.
Oh, that was today, actually.
Yes, that was today. But I also feel like if you feel like Advent is like that, he's like, rest, everything's under control. But it feels like you're not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a penitential season. I don't think we should forget that. And we do a lot of the time.
We do.
Forget.
And I'm guilty of that. I do.
Yes.
And like even just this past week, I'm like, Christmas is getting so close. I know I am not ready yet. Like we have not bought Santa gifts for my kids. We have not bought our gifts for my kids. We haven't bought gifts for anybody. I bought myself a few things. My new juicer. So excited for that. But I'm not ready for Christmas. And I'm starting to panic.
And spiritually,
And
are you ready for Christmas?
I mean, okay, so I think I had an advantage this year because I wrote the Jesse Tree book. Like,
oh, and you
I've
felt
been,
like
in my heart, I've been in a season of Advent since mid-November when I started writing the Jesse Tree book.
Gotcha.
Because, like, I did a lot of reflecting and I learned so much writing that book. And I really had a chance to sit with Jesus while writing it. And I experienced Advent, I guess the thought pre-Advent differently than I usually do because Christmas is so joyful and happy. You know, the birth of Jesus, it's great. It's beautiful. It is happy. And I don't want to diminish that. But this year, what really stuck out to me is the purpose of him coming. Like, and I guess before, you know, I've always known in my head that the purpose is so he could die on the cross to save us, right? I knew that was the end goal, but at Christmas I'm really guilty of going, "Oh, yay. Jesus is here." And we should. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but this year it was focused more on the big picture.
And it's interesting that the Lord took you that way because mostly in OCIA, as we've been doing Lectio Divina and diving into scripture with it, I've just noticed, and even writing my journal for people, the Lord has really just been pulling me towards seeing his perspective of intimacy, on intimacy with him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, reading about the Last Supper, I was like, oh my gosh, he just wants me. Like, he just wants to be with me and a part of me.
Yeah.
And that was what drew me in, was his longing for me and, you know, reciprocating that longing in my own heart for him. But as I went through the Advent candles and was kind of writing about those and what they mean, I was also, you know, starting to go, I get my every sacred Sunday journal reflections, which are amazing. And this theme is the wedding at Cana. And it almost brought me to tears because in the introduction, it talks about how Mary, he said, you know, woman, very much cementing like the woman in Genesis, like she's the new Eve there.
Yeah.
It's not diminishing in any way.
Right.
It's him kind of like showing that he's fulfilling her role there and calling her into it, but she's also calling him into his. He's like, my time has not yet come. She knows that when he performs that first miracle, his ministry begins. Yeah. And therefore, not only is his ministry set in stone, but his death.
Oof.
And I was like, as a mom, she's like, I know you're going to die for doing this, but this is what you're being asked to do. Yeah. And she kind of did it anyway. Yeah. And I was just so struck even by that intimate moment between the two of them. Yeah. And that intimacy that they would have shared. Him knowing that she was willing to take that step and make that sacrifice. Yeah. And him submitting to the authority of his mother. Mm-hmm. And doing what, like, the theme itself is do whatever he tells you. Yeah. And seeing that line, like, her complete surrender to him, his complete surrender to understanding that, like, you know, she as his mom is saying, you're being called to do this. It's time. It was so deep. Hit me so hard.
So taking that back to Christmas, like, obviously I wasn't there. I don't know. But, like, as a mom myself, I mean, knowing what she knew, you know, I wonder if at all she delivered Jesus and then, like, a piece of her was like, here we go. Yeah. Like, having your baby and being so overwhelmed with joy. Like, I can't even imagine giving birth to God, right? Like, that's crazy
Shout
in
out to
itself.
Mary.
Like,
Yes.
But-
which is why Haley hates of the Passion. Mary, did you know?
oh, okay. So funny story.
It was just a good segue.
Jill and I were talking about this song, Mary, Did You Know, a couple weeks ago. I cannot stand this Christmas song. It is sung beautifully, okay? But the lyrics
It
are
is
my
written
problem.
beautifully.
I, like, yes, of course, she knew. Why are we even asking the question?
But
Like-
Jill posed an opposing point that was,
Yeah.
but Mary pondered all these things in her heart.
Uh-huh.
So, like, it's almost like they're framing the song, Mary, Did You Know? Like, they're articulating that pondering of her
Uh-huh.
heart out loud.
Yes. And I did think about that when I heard it on the radio today, and I said, click. I'm still not going to listen to it.
And I raise you. No.
Uno.
You have to get rid of the Uno card. Anyways, this Advent, just take it to the Lord. You know, it's still not too late to get the Advent journal or the Jesse tree. And if you feel like it is, ask the Lord why, because he's not posing any judgments on whether or not you get through all 25 days. And the journal goes through Christmas, not to Christmas, through Christmas. And I wanted to do that because we spend so much time preparing that we get to the big celebratory season and we're not necessarily ready to receive. Like, we don't receive, and we don't. The journal both is like, Jesus, what are you asking? Like, what do you want from me today? Like, what is the gift you want me to give you on your birthday, for your birthday? And what are you asking me to receive? Like, what do I need to know?
Mm-hmm.
What am I to receive in this season? And I wanted to do that because we shouldn't, just because it's like this big feast doesn't mean that we should stop engaging with Jesus.
Right.
Like, because we get to Christmas and we open the presents and we do the things, but how often do we spend Christmas thinking about Jesus?
Right.
Like, when we have babies in the hospital, you spend the next 24 hours staring at their face, getting to know them, feeding them. Like, this baby was, anytime somebody else has a baby and you know they're in labor, you're waiting by the phone to know that baby's name and how much they weighed and all of the things. But do we do that? Like, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? Like, do we really anticipate it? And I wanted the journal to capture that.
And I will say, Christmas Day is so hectic. Like, from the moment we are woken up by our kids.
Yes.
Because, let's be honest, my alarm doesn't
Or
get
the
the
dog.
chance to go off because my children are like, Santa came! And so we're like, okay, here we go. And, you know, from that moment on, it's like Braden makes the coffee and I'm starting food. You know, watch our kids open gifts, and then we are busy. We're making food. We're preparing the other gifts to take around to our mini houses that we need to go to. And it's just pure chaos. And I will admit, and I actually didn't think about it until you just asked me the question, I don't think about Jesus much. I mean, we may mention it in our prayer
Sure,
before
like, we
meals.
know,
Like,
but does the head
thank you,
meet the
Jesus, for
heart?
coming. But,
Yeah.
like, that's the extent of it on
Shout out
Christmas
to you
Day.
for coming to Earth in the incarnation
Thanks, buddy.
and being really chilly in that manger.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Being real
Like,
human.
just thinking about the sacrifice that was made in his humble birth.
Yes, like going from being fully God to like he was fully God and fully human,
Right.
right? But taking on that human aspect of feeling
In a stable, no
all
less.
the human things in a stable,
Not like in a palace where it's cushy
in
and
like
warm.
an animal salad bowl, basically.
Yes.
You saw me.
I had so many thoughts in my head just now. We're just not going to speak those.
There was literally a meme I saw last year, and they were like, "Why is it was the animal's perspective?" They're like, "Why is a baby in the salad?"
This episode is so unhinged.
Maybe we just need to label each of these episodes unhinged. Here's
Christmas edition.
Christmas edition. That would be a thing. People do it. I don't know that we can summarize all these things. Red one, good.
Santa bad. Oh, wait.
Dear Santa.
Santa movie.
Santa movie bad. When it comes to like the secular, like just know that each secular thing has a Christian thing.
Yeah.
So like if Elf on the Shelf is secular. Do Mary on the Mantle.
Right.
Because it's the same concept, but one of them is God focused and the other is not. Same with Advent wreaths, Jesse trees. Not that the Advent count, like the little calendars are bad, but maybe like
No, get you some chocolate.
you can get yourself some chocolate, but maybe you can make a scripture verse and throw it into each box, and that makes it.
Also, fun fact. I think it's Luke, the Gospel of Luke, that has 24 chapters. So like you read one chapter every day, and you've read the entire Gospel by Christmas.
Nice. That's an easy way to do it. And honestly, I think a lot of the readings during Advent, like we read from Isaiah a lot. Like a lot of the prophecies about Jesus are in there. So you could do the majority of them Isaiah and be fine, probably also.
Right. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Because the Lord's going to speak to you either way.
Pray about it. God is going to show you what he wants you to do. And the biggest part of it is just connecting with him.
Yes, exactly. So, whatever you do, connect with him.
Yes.
The one thing we didn't talk about, and really, I mean, we have talked about Santa a lot because we probably will not do Santa Claus, and her family does. And our pro cons are essentially like, it costs more money, and you also have to, like, come to terms with, like, the fact that it's not the truth that you're sharing with your kids. You have to, but something else you could do.
Did you see that what I tagged you on Facebook?
No.
Okay, so you got to check your messages because Sean C. shared something very interesting, and I thought it was very timely because it talked about Santa. Because that's my concern with, we're teaching my 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old, honesty. That's a big topic right now in our house, and telling the truth when it's hard. And so I feel a part of me is like, because we're working on such honesty issues right now, is telling her that Santa's real lying. And in a way it is, but this thing that Chauncey shared said, the kid asks, is Santa real? And they say, yes, but not in the way that you think. So Santa is not a person. He is like the Christmas spirit, or, so it explains it better. And I was just like, wow, that was a really...
It's a way to
thoughtful way to segue that.
Santa embodies generosity.
Right.
Because he's based off of Saint Nicholas of Myra. I think is how you say it. So we celebrated that. His feast day we're recording this on December 7th. His feast day was yesterday, December 6th.
Right.
So there's a whole legend, like all of the Catholic kids podcasts have it, or at least the Catholic Saints podcast or something like that. And his parents had a lot of money. When they passed away, he didn't know what to do with it. He was a bishop. And this family he knew didn't have money for dowries for their daughters. And this is in the 200s. Like, women really didn't have anything if they didn't have a dowry. And their father was afraid they would be forced to be on the streets. He lost all his money somehow. So St. Nicholas tossed a bag of coins through the window and it landed in his shoe. And he did this for each daughter, and it was just enough for her dowry. And so he embodies generosity as a saint. And the guy finally found out that it was him, and he swore him to secrecy. But, like, St. Nicholas embodies generosity. Santa embodies generosity as he gives presents to the entire world. But we do the shoe thing, and we put, like, the gold coins and the coal in it. And my grandma, when she picked it up at Walmart, they were like, why would you put coal in it? That'll make them feel bad. And I was like, well, I explained to my kids. First of all, it's the Rice Krispie one, so it's better. It's the better one.
It's the better coal.
It's the better. Coal tastes better than the gold coins. But I gave them both. And I was like, the coins represent your good choices and the coal your bad choices. Ooh. But it doesn't define who you are. It just shows that we can always do better.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I show, like the naughty and nice list almost becomes like an identity label. Like, you're naughty or you're nice. And that's something that Red One kind of talked about to tie that back. It was like, you're not confined to the list.
Yeah.
You can change and make better choices.
So I've noticed that with my kids, like, especially Joanna, she's like, am I going to get coal? Because, like, every time she does something wrong around Christmas time, she's like, am I going to get coal?
It's almost fear-inspiring.
Yes.
Yes. But I don't like that it inspires fear. That is not a fruit of the Holy Spirit.
Right. And she's such a worrywart anyway.
There are some temperaments that do not, like, ride well with that.
That's my kid.
And that's okay. But you just have to recognize that. And I also gave them each an ornament, which Haley made for me. That's a tradition that my in-laws did, so with their kids. And that's a Christian way that you can celebrate Santa Claus. I don't really care if they know it's me. I just, like, we're honoring Saint Nicholas and his generosity and the way that he lived his life for Jesus. And whether you do that as Santa or you do it as Saint Nick on his feast day, it again, it's a matter of asking the Lord and talking with your husband or whoever, just about it and discerning for yourself what you're being called to.
Yeah.
And if you take one thing to surrender to the Lord here, it's like, where am I trying to make Christmas something it's not? And what idols am I putting in the way of what Christmas is really about?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you asking me to give that back to you?
And I think as parents, that's our duty, is to make that shift in our homes.
Yes. And even if you're not married, to make that shift in the disposition of your heart.
Yeah.
Because no matter your vocation, that's something you will have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something the Lord will probably continue to prompt you in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think we can land it any better than that.
That was
So
good stuff. Look at us. We got it together by the end of the episode.
You know, it works. We just gotta get warmed
fine.
up. 40 minutes later.
Holy socks.
I'll edit it. Anyways, thank you for sticking with us. We covered a lot of different Christmassy things, and I feel like we went up and down through most of that.
We sure did.
But comment below your favorite Christmas tradition.
Oh, yeah. And your favorite Christmas movie.
Favorite Christmas movies.
No. But that's okay. Leave us your favorites. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we can do a follow-up episode about that. We got 12 days of the Christmas season to cover too.
Yeah.
But yeah, drop your favorite Christmas movie, your favorite traditions, your least favorites. You can drop your least favorite Christmas song, least favorite way to prepare. Give us all the details, because we'd love to take that and run with it and share your thoughts. And you can always email us over at hello@holysurrender, WHOLLYSURRENDER.com.
That was impressive.
Thank you. I have not done that once yet because we just changed the email. So,
also 5 points for anybody who knows what we quoted.
yes.
Coffee.
Coffee, coffee, coffee. How do you like your coffee? In a vat.
With my oxygen.
With my oxygen. In an IV.
Yes.
Yes. If you can, we'll enter you to win a prize. Yeah.
Yeah,
You drop
good
that.
idea. We can do that.
We will drop every comment that you leave. If you leave a Christmas comment, that'll be one thing. If you can answer what show that is, it'll be a different one.
Get some swag.
Yeah, get some swag. We would love for
We don't
you guys
make dumb
to make
things, okay? We make good stuff. It is quality and cute.
New tag. Holy surrender. We don't make dumb things. So with that, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.